Well, what do you know? We've got trains running on Fairview. That must mean it's time for a layout update. So here we go. Let's show you what's new around the layout this month. Hi everybody, and welcome back to Fairview, where we are finally making some progress. It's been the usual kind of heady mix of a busy end of academic year, and then I went away on holiday for 10 days to Germany, but in between all of that, bit by bit, I have been starting to make real progress with the layout. So we're going to have a look around at a few different things and give you an idea of where things have started to sort of move ahead a little bit. So I guess the first thing to point out is the most obvious, which is that the yard area, or rather technically speaking the staging area, has really started to take shape. Even when I was first coming up with my kind of backstory for Fairview, I had considered this area to be Grant Junction and the town of Dexter. And I've been laying out some storage tracks and yes, beginning to unpack some of the trains which haven't seen the light of day for, well, a long time. And it's been nice just to get them out and start giving them all a bit of a run. You'll notice though, if we just look more closely at the track work for now, that I'm quite deliberately making everything still very temporary. One of the real mistakes I made when I built Fairview Mark I was to kind of rush into everything. I wanted track down, I wanted it ballasted, I wanted trains operating to schedules right from the start, and that meant that I made quite a lot of mistakes which were then very difficult to fix. So for now at least, the yard area, this staging area, is screwed down with this very simple arrangement of washers and small screws, and that's letting me just change things. I did have a plan which I'd drawn up in AnyRail, but already things are kind of changing a bit from that. But that's no matter because, as I say, what it means for the moment is that we are starting to have more and more trains laid out, ready to come into service on the layout. Now, as I pan around to what is effectively the throat of this staging area, originally I was looking at maybe either a slope or a helix at this point to come straight onto the main deck. But for now, I figured if I just walk around this table, which has got one of my old modules on it, I figured that I might as well carry on at this level. So a first swing out bridge gate has been added here to allow the track to come right round at this level, giving me quite a long run, potentially to enter the helix here. Now, as you can tell, this is all still even more temporary than anywhere else on the layout. The boards, the the bench work hasn't been finished yet, and in fact, if I just touch it on my in-camera, yep, that bit there is just propped up on a table. but it lets me start to think about how a helix might affect this space. One of the biggest constraints for my layout room is that we have a door there through from the kitchen and utility room that runs through into what is still the functioning part of the garage where we keep garden tools and things like that. So any helix really can't interfere with that passageway through, and it's looking quite good for the moment. Technically right now all we've got here is set track pieces at a nominal, I think 21-inch radius. Clearly I won't be able to test very much more for the time being until the track is fixed down and I actually put in the elevation component so that the track loops around and climbs on top of itself. But spatially at least, again, just step back slightly, spatially at least that would seem to work. Now I'm not going to stress about that element too much for now, simply because I want to focus now. So as I begin to pan background, I want to focus on actually finalising the track plan here, and as I do that then I can actually start fixing track in place. In actual fact, as I continue to track along the staging, what you might also spot is that there is a single line running behind that then just continues round on that shelf. So in fact, as well as fixing the staging, the plan will be then to run across the doorway there to link up here behind the helix, come round, so that we can have continuous running. So I'm pleased for the moment that we have at least got this much of a run. We're looking already at about, well, let's say 35 to 40 feet maybe, effectively 3 sides of the garage. That's almost as much as I had with my old layout before I've even completed this first circuit. So that's really good. I'm happy with where we're going. And obviously now the plan is to finish off that circuit and get the track fixed down. While I'm working on that, thinking about the next steps, I'll just show you a couple of things. While I was on holiday in Germany, I picked up a second-hand loco of the Swiss railway company, SBB. I'm not sure what that actually even stands for. Schweizer Bahn, something. Anyway, really distinctive livery, and a couple of wagons. Don't worry, I am not now ditching North America and starting all over again with a continental European layout, but I kind of thought it would be fun to run that train from time to time, and just behind it at least a couple of German style buildings I've always had. Maybe I'll do something modular where occasionally I can just swap out a few buildings on a scene and suddenly it becomes European rather than American. I don't know. While I was in Germany, I also picked up a couple of kits by Faller. Anybody who models anything connected with Germany will be well aware of this particular brand. A kit which is sort of the building containing all the electronics for switching turnouts and things like that. Nice little kit. Don't know if it has the graffiti included in the kit, but that should be quite fun and easy to build. And then perhaps more exciting, I've always quite fancied getting this. This is technically a German Alpine Association climbing centre. but I'm going to repurpose it slightly. I'm probably going to effectively cut it in half to make it a half relief building, and obviously then slightly Americanize it, not least that it won't belong to the German Climbing Federation anymore. But somewhere in Fairview, the citizens who enjoy their active lifestyles are going to be able to practice their skills at a local rock climbing centre at some point in the future. So that's quite fun. Finally, for now, I have just been acquiring some more reading material, another of Lance Mindheim's excellent volumes about operations. And then people in the UK at least might know a little bit about a gentleman called James Hilton, who does some wonderful work with small vignettes and dioramas of railways from all around the world. Not just British, not just North American, but he's starting to do these really nice volumes of images and track plans, both of railroads that he's worked on, but also from railroads that people he knows have built. Okay, somebody called Mathieu Lachance with the Murray Bay subdivision, clearly a Canadian themed layout, but just to flick randomly almost, Viga Passman has done a Dutch themed layout. La Plaine, oh, maybe not Dutch, maybe Belgian, then La Plaine Saint-Denis. So, yeah, some things just to give me some inspiration as I'm working on the railroad. And that's it for today's update. Not a huge amount of progress, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, but the progress I have made, I'm very pleased with. Soon I should be able to have some continuous running, and I'll be able to start fixing some of this track work in place permanently. So if you've liked what I've shared with you today, please do give me a thumbs up. Feel free to leave comments, suggestions about what I might do to kind of maximize the potential of the yard here. And tune in to the next update, which I hope will come a little sooner than this one appeared. Now it's the summertime, I'm working in the garden and stuff as well, but I hope to really get some progress going. I'll leave you with some shots of loco number 1216 switching the yard out. And hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.